Hi everyone and welcome to Versus 5 Episode 2, a two-team tournament with 5 managers on each team, then split up into 5 one-on-one matchups and each matchup given a separate challenge. My challenge is against Old Lady Plays and we are taking on the challenge of getting as many points in Serie A as we possibly can with Sassuolo. So let's see how we're getting on. Welcome back to Sassuolo in Italy's Serie A. Things have been going pretty well. We'll check out the run of form in a second or two, but you can see immediately that we're sitting in 6th in the table. The position doesn't matter as much as the points do. And having played 9 games, today we have come back to play our 10th. We're on 16 points, which is pretty good. If we were to win today, then we would go to 19 points after 10 matches, roughly 2 points per game. And I think I would probably take that as an average over the course of the season, really. But yeah, so far so good. I'm reasonably happy with how it's going, so let's check out those results. So if you joined me last time, you'll remember that we got a decent enough 3-0 win against Spezia in the first game of the season. A promoted side, it was an expected win, but we still delivered a decent performance, I would suggest. And it's kind of been all right since. I mean, we have had a couple of losses, but we've played some big sides. But we also got that 2-0 win recently against Zebra, which is Juventus in this particular save. And we also got a draw against Inter Milan. So it's been pretty good. I'm reasonably happy with it. 2-0 loss against Napoli. We did lose against Roma and also against Atalanta, but we are not the finished article by any stretch. We are predicted to finish mid-table. We're already in advancement of that, so that's a good start also. But ultimately, we're going to come unstuck occasionally. That's just the nature of playing in Serie A, I would suggest, with this particular club. But overall, I'm really happy with how it's going, and it'll just be very interesting to see how well Old Lady Plays is doing as well. Some very good goals in there from the likes of Jean-Pierre and Samé. You remember I introduced you to him last episode as one of our 2 new signings into the club. I spent most of my transfer budget on him, and so far, if we go and check him out, you can see that he is doing pretty well. 7 goals in 9 games so far, and he has really helped to lead the line extraordinarily well. So I'm really happy with that piece of business. It's worked out very well so far. Today we get Fiorentina, and if we go into the table and we look through the table, you can see that Fiorentina are currently sitting in 9th position, couple behind us, a couple of points behind us. So it's still all very tight at this stage of the season, but it's another really tricky game to try and get through. Today we're also away from home, which is also a bit of a challenge, isn't it, really, to go away from home. But the momentum has been stalled a little bit by that Napoli loss in the last game that we played. So let's see if we can get it back today. So for today's match, we do have pretty much a fit squad. We've got a little bit of a knock to Ferrari, who's just come back from a bit of an injury. He's got a little bit more to do, so he's only on the bench, but he probably only would have been on the bench anyway. Other than that, everybody's pretty much fit and healthy, so we get a jam-packed bench in Serie A. 12 players we can name, which is fantastic. And so all of that means that, the other thing I was going to tell you actually was that the transfer window has actually come and gone for this summer transfer window now, obviously, because we're in December, and it was still kind of ongoing at the last point of last episode, and we didn't lose anybody, which is great. We had the likes of Locatelli being really looked at by Real Madrid, and they came in with a bid that I turned down. I think I can fend most teams off, to be honest, for one season, which is all we're going to be spending here at Sassuolo, so I think we'll be all right. But ultimately, there was a few nervy moments here and there, but we did manage to get everybody through to the end of the summer transfer window, and you can see the results of that. We kept our better players, and we're doing pretty well this season. So back to today's game, we have Consigli in goal, Toljan at right back, Kyriakopoulos, I've been practicing that one at left back. Chiriches and Marlon in central defence, Lopez, Locatelli and Juricic in central midfield, Berardi on the right, Bogga back from his injury that started the season on the left, and Nsame, the goal scoring machine, up top, and pretty much everybody else on the bench. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So I decided not to dig them out or anything after the last game particularly. It was against a decent side. So today I've just calmly said, come on lads, show me what you can do. Let's see if we can turn this little blip around, get back on the winning run again and potentially get some really valuable points in. Fiorentina, decent side though. It should be a really interesting game to see whether we can compete with them. You can see a fairly sparse stadium, to be honest. It's not as full as I expected it to be. There's the table with them in 9th and us in 6th. Can we take advantage of the slightly higher league position and come out on top today? We'll have to wait and see. We kick off and the opportunities for highlights are there. Let's see if one of us can take them. And it's a throw-in for us down the left-hand side. Bogga takes over from Kyriakopoulos. I think I'm doing pretty well with that name, to be honest, this week so far. But the Fiorentina right back wins it and clears the ball, but we win it in defence again from Chiriches, and we get to work again down the left-hand side, switch it out to this far right-hand side now for Berardi, drops it back to Toljan, comes forward to the edge of the box. Can he get a cross in? The cross is blocked. It's partially cleared again, but Lopez again for us picks it up in central midfield, and we get to sweep it again across to this left-hand side. Kyriakopoulos drives at the defence, over the top for Berardi, and then Berardi powers the ball straight at the goalkeeper. But some good play, some good movement of the ball back and forth across the pitch. We get a corner kick from Lopez to the back post. The goalkeeper comes out and claims it very nicely. Settles the play down for Fiorentina. What can he do? He goes long and we win it really easily in our central defensive area. And again, we get to counter-attack. This time down the right-hand side. Toljan skips past a midfielder, drops it back to Lopez, who takes over. Good ball into Nsame, and then the shot is blocked. Really good block though, but we again got through, and we were again a little bit unlucky just at that last final few seconds to get a decent shot away. And Same's shot was blocked and then cleared comfortably by Fiorentina. But the signs are looking pretty good. We're at least competing well with them, if nothing more than that at this particular moment in time. You can see that they've come in quite defensive. What are they playing like? They're playing almost like a 3-5-2, but a very defensive one. We again go down the right-hand side, switch it across to the left, lose out this time, and it's a chance for Fiorentina to come back at us, and they're working their way down to the left-hand side. Biraghi takes over. And he gets the ball back again onto his left foot, crosses to the near post, and they were very unlucky. They almost got a chance there to score. We eventually got it cleared, but looked a little bit shaky doing it. And again, they've come back at us down the right-hand side this time. We've got plenty of men back, though. The shape is reasonably good. They're working the ball well. Did that hit the woodwork? I think it did. I don't think it was a save by the keeper. And at the very end of that first half, we go in 0-0, but they were really pushing us at the end of that first half. You can see that the statistics for the match have us fairly even, to be honest. 7 shots for us, 6 for them, 3 and 2 in terms of on target. XG rating is pretty much the same at about 0.6. The passing completion is very high. We're both passing very well, and the possession is just a little bit below 50% for us. So we're doing okay. We're competing, but just in this second half, at some point, we're going to have to switch it a little bit and just push forward a little bit more and see if we can get something from this game, maybe. Although a draw in an away game is never a bad result, maybe it's there for us. We'll have to see how this second half goes. So what we're going to do, I think we're going to say unlucky boys, things haven't gone for us quite yet. We're going to do it still quite chilled out, no stresses, no strains, go straight in to the second half, and then we're going to demand more from them just as we send them out for the second half and see if we can get an upturn in their performance slightly just at the beginning of this half. just to see if we can potentially catch them out and get a 1-0 lead that maybe then we can defend. Good challenge by Duracek in the central midfield area, but Fiorentina unfortunately did come away with the ball until they ran into the brick wall that was Kyriakopoulos, and he wins it very nicely. Boga takes over, drives from that left-hand side right the way to the middle onto his right foot, then pushes Berardi a little bit too wide with the ball, but he makes the absolute most of it by turning back on himself, getting a really good cross into the top of the 6-yard box, and there's the goal-scoring machine that is Nsame with another one, a really good header. Berardi eventually gets round the defender, puts the ball in left-footed, and a glancing header at the top of the 6-yard box for Nsame gives him, what was that, is like his 8th of the season, something like that, and he's doing fantastically well. I'm so happy with that piece of business. It was a brilliant piece of business to bring him in, and he has made the difference so far. So at 73 minutes, we're just going to pause the game there for a second and go and make a couple of personnel changes, because you can see that we've got some very tired legs out there. So it looks like we're going to have to take Locatelli out. His conditioning's low and he's also picked up a yellow card. So we're going to take him out and we are going to bring on Barabia for him. That's who I want to play in that position. And then we've also got Duracek having to come out, and Hamed Junior Traore comes in for him in that attacking midfield role. Other than that, I think we're looking pretty decent. So it becomes then about, is there anybody underperforming a little bit? And we do have Boga that's not doing great, is he? And whenever Haraslin has come in, he's done all right for us. So we are going to change him up and put Haraslin in. And then we're going to go back into the game and see out the game, hopefully. We're going to keep it as we have been doing so far, excuse me, in our balanced approach. There's no need to open up at all. I don't really feel the need to go too cautious at this stage either. I think we're keeping the ball pretty well. And I've just realised at half-time, I think I switched some of the statistics round for them and us, and I was looking at the wrong bits, but okay, that happens. Anyway, Lopez on the ball for us, drops it back to Toljan and into Barabia, and out there's the two substitutes that we just brought in. Haraslin takes over, drifts off that left hand side into the middle, and Same drops it back, and Lopez takes over to Toljan down the right hand side. Where's the cross opportunity? Is there one here? He has a defender against him, but he gets a brilliant cross in as the sun comes in through my window and blinds me a little bit just at the wrong moment, and he gets a fantastic cross in. He had a good defender there, just pushing and pressuring him, but he manages to cut it back from the byline to the top of the 6-yard box again, and there again with the header is Nsame with another goal, and that is the real benefit of him this season. He is absolutely scoring every time that we show up whenever we need him to. 2 goals from Nsame, a 2-0 win against a tricky opponent in Fiorentina, and we've played really well. I'm really impressed by that again today. This Sassuolo side is actually pretty decent. You can see that the stats were in our favour in the end, but the big stat that really mattered was we got the 2-0 win, outstretched the arms. I'm very pleased with the performance, well done, and we can basically move on from another winning position. So just before we head back into the schedule page, just to figure out for what we're doing for next episode, it's worth checking in on the league table, because we now sit in 5th position after 10 matches on those 19 points. We're 3 points behind Napoli, who've got a game in hand. I'm not worried about getting into Europe or anything like that. I'm purely worried about getting as many points on the table as I can for the one-on-one that I'm doing with Old Lady Plays. That's all I care about in this particular instance. So the top 4, if that doesn't ever enter our conversations, that's okay. If we drop down 3 spots but maintain some good performances and get good points from them, I'm happy with that. And so far, I'm really happy. 19 points after 10 matches with Sassuolo, I think is pretty decent. So let's go back into the schedule page. We are going to come back for game 19 of the season. So we've played the first match, the 10th match, and the next one we're coming back for is match number 19. And as it stands, unless anything gets rearranged for any reason at all, it will be this game against Cagliari in the middle of January, away from home, just after we played Sampdoria in the Italian Cup as well. So yeah, that's the game that we're going to come back for, is Cagliari, unless things get moved around in the schedule. But between now and then, we've got some tricky games to play. Udinese, Lazio, Milan, a couple of others in there as well. 2 games against Sampdoria, 1 in the league, 1 in the cup. It's going to be an interesting month or so in game terms to see how we get through that. But so far, the mid sort of point of this second episode is that we've done really well. I'm really happy with it. And I think that we can be quite positive about our chances moving forward. So let's see how well our opponent's done in her particular save, and see where she's at after this episode. Both episodes of this particular series get dropped at the same time, so her episode 2 is out now. So once you finish here, go and find hers and see whether we've managed to reel her in at all in terms of points that we've both earned. I'll try and put a link in the description below to her YouTube channel, so you can go and do that. But yeah, thank you for the support on the first episode. It was immense, the amount of people that came and checked it out. I hope you'll enjoy this particular short-term series. There's only going to be like 5 episodes, so we haven't got too many more to go, but so far it's going really, really well. So thank you for joining me again for today's episode. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join my United City community. The more the merrier. There's all sorts of links in the description below to my Twitter, to my Discord. You can support the channel through Patreon or my merch store. Go and check them all out. Let me know what you think about them all. But click that like button on this particular episode. That will help me continue to grow the channel. Until next time though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.